Before we get to interest rates, we'll start with economic growth, Roy, which was announced yesterday, and it is weak, 0.2% for the quarter, and it was below the market forecast of 0.3%. So this delicate juggling act that the Reserve Bank has undertaken to try and keep Australia out of recession is really on tenterhooks at the moment.
Yes, and we know that a recession is defined by two negative figures in a row, and that 0.2% positive, so that's a plus. But immigration this year's been 400,000 people. Pre-pandemic, it was 235,000 people. So we've got huge immigration, and if it wasn't for that immigration, that would have been negative.
Concerning figures, and I think that we're going to go into more detail about economic growth and how we can stimulate that later in the show. But as we mentioned, interest rate now at 4.1% after another rate hike. It's been a 400 basis point rate increase since May 2022, Roy, and the pain is being felt by mortgage holders, particularly new mortgage holders who borrowed just a year ago at 4% less than the current rate.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about fixed rates, but yeah, there's a lot of pain out there with this extra increase.
The monthly CPI indicator came out and it indicated an increase in inflation. Now, Roy, I don't profess to know the answer to this, but there's mixed reports as to the legitimacy of this number. The ABS reports inflation in two different ways. There's a monthly CPI indicator that has, or that effectively takes in a basket of goods with fewer goods, and then there's the quarterly number, which is more comprehensive. This was the one that was, or that is apparently slightly less comprehensive and therefore has more volatility in it. But what it does say is that there is inflation at 6.8%, which is still quite high, and it was enough to push the Reserve Bank and the Governor, Philip Lowe, to increase the inflation rate.
And interestingly, Dave, that inflation rate was a big surprise. And yes, it does mean that interest rates were going up. But interestingly, in that inflation rate, gas went up by 14.3%.